2 years ago, this pipeline company came to the tribal council and announced that they were going to build this off the reservation and basically wanted the tribe's blessing. And the tribe told them then, we don't want you to build this pipeline, we don't support this pipeline, take it someplace else. Of course, the pipeline company had its mind set up in terms of what they wanted to do. Originally, they had proposed that the pipeline cross the river about 60 miles to the north. That's Bismarck, North Dakota, the state capital. And court documents, which the tribe got its hands on when it filed suit against the oil company, found that that was their original intent, was to put it north. But in those court documents, it also says they chose not to have the pipeline go close to Bismarck, North Dakota, because the one concern was if the pipeline breaks, it would contaminate the water for the state capital. And so it's real interesting that they would reroute the pipeline now down here close to us and tell us, and they're telling the world, that this is the safest pipeline in the world. It's got all the latest technology, the best steel, and we can shut it down at a moment's notice. Well, if obviously it leaks, then it's going to pollute the water. But truly, if they believed it wasn't going to leak, then why move it out of Bismarck, North Dakota? Why not keep it going through there? And I wish they would, because that's where the governor lives, and he's in support of this. The senators and most of the government officials in North Dakota believe that this pipeline is the greatest thing in the world. And so if it's the greatest thing in the world and they believe it's not going to leak, go ahead and put it in Bismarck, North Dakota. Why put it here? But we know that anything man-made eventually breaks. Everything man-made breaks. And so we're not willing to take that chance and have them put it here and pollute our water, because the water that runs through the Missouri River, if it breaks here where they want to put it, we believe in about 10 minutes it would be at our first water intake. And so it would basically pollute all the water for our drinking on the whole reservation. And we're not willing to take that chance.
It's not if the pipeline is going to leak, it's when. So that's why the Standing Rock Sioux tribe has said no. They don't want this pipeline coming through their territories, especially going underneath that river or even above. If they come up with another proposal to go over the river, they're going to say no. Is that this is a spiritual battle. We have a corporate-controlled world. We have a corporate-controlled United States. It's about privatization of land, and the government is behind it. It's always been a takings issue with the settlement in the early centuries, taking of Indian land and native lands. So this is really becoming the apex of that. This is right now that time when Mother Earth is speaking up with what's happening here.
This is the first time in this continent's history when this many tribes have come together in solidarity over one issue. So there have been gatherings of this size, but not of this many different tribes, and united over one issue. And so you're getting tribes that were traditionally enemies, not just our enemies, but enemies amongst themselves, who are coming in solidarity on this one issue. And it is a wonderful feeling to be here and see all these tribes come. This is the greatest place to be in the world, period. Right now, this is the greatest place in the world to be.
This Mother Earth we're protecting. And it's about time we really all come together and stand out. Getting tired of being pushed around. It's about time we do something massive, this big.
It's just so overwhelming. I mean, just pulling in, I'm just in awe. I'm so happy for our people. It's such beautifulness. I felt a calling inside and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. Sorry. I hope we're always like this forever.
I'm starting to get excited now.
Yeah.
Right on. Wow. This is cool.
Yeah, that's great.
All the way from Winnipeg. He's a homeboy from Winnipeg, standing with us at Standing Rock here at Ochete Shikoin. We want to welcome him.
It's an honor to be here and to be with you, because when I look around and I talk to the few that I've talked to out here, you guys have really created what I call a utopia, a place, a gathering of peace, but also a spiritual gathering, bringing all our nations together. And over the years, I've talked to a lot of friends about our unity and how we as a nations of peoples should come together, and I now get to see that. So for me, it's a real honor to be here. I think having the American Indians involved in this fight against oil has acknowledged us that we do exist. You know, I think everybody feels that we only lived in the 1800s. We're only part of the cowboys and Indians world. And I think it's time that we shared our voice and our traditions and our culture with everyone to acknowledge that, you know, there's more to us than the romanticism that we see in Hollywood. We're not only Hollywood Indians, we're actually doctors, lawyers, filmmakers, skateboarders. We exist now and will continue to exist, and I think this voice has recognized that. I just try to stay focused on the idea of we're here to protect the water in a peaceful way, and hopefully people can connect with their own spiritual connection that they have in their lives to respect that water and understand that it affects everybody. It's not just an Indian thing, it's a human being thing, you know? And I can't believe that, you know, at this time, we're fighting and arguing over something like this. But we live in a day and age where people want to bottle that water and sell it to us. They don't want us to have it for free, but that's the world we live in, and I'm hoping we can, you know, create some sort of conscious, spiritual connection that really wakes people up. Thank you for the honor and respect of being here with so many nations of people, carrying the spiritual justice. And I know you hear us. We hear you. We pray with you. We touch.
I'm sure that, you know, they're thinking that, you know, once it gets cold, we're going to leave. But that isn't it, you know. A lot of us are here to stop the pipeline. And if we have to endure, you know, the winter elements outside, so be it. You know, we've committed to stopping this pipeline. we knew that someday we would have to use our bodies because, we're coming from Creator. And our bodies, they could, hit us or whatever, use those dogs, but our body is powerful. They're not chewing into our spirit. It's our spirit that keeps our body strong, and to withstand all the things that they, put on us. That's why I come here, I love my children. I love my tacojas, my grandchildren. And I love my tacojas that, are going to come. As Lakota people, we trace our bloodline back to Creator, and so as all Indigenous people, we don't forget our bloodline. We don't come here in this lifetime and only say they're my relatives, in this lifetime. We remember our bloodline that is gonna come. And so, that's the compassion and that's the love Creator sent us here with, and that's what we stand on. We stand on everything that Creator sent us with.
A lot of the youth that are here, they've been really just so inspiring to me. They're the ones that say, hey, we're coming here, we want to do something. We want to go up and offer our prayers, so, because we feel that as Native people, prayers are powerful. Our foundation is prayer, but we also put that prayer into action, because it's kind of like we are facing a really dark force. It's been voiced as a snake, that darkness that makes nations be at war with each other. There's war over water, we hear all over the world. There's water now, war over oil, fossil fuels. One of the big issues that in decades is going to be the issue of energy and water. That the world's running out of water. People are going to fight over water. They're going to fight over energy. And we see that right now. That's why we need to have a new mentality, humanity throughout the world, and our own Native leadership as well, but especially the world leaders. They need to all reevaluate what their relationship is to the sacredness of Mother Earth. So why is it that the Indigenous peoples are now bringing this up now? Because that timing is now. It's the time for change. Systems change, not climate change.
And what a beautiful way to explain it, by we are protectors and will always be protectors. 100 years from now, we'll be doing the same. You can't buy us. This is who we are. And they've been trying to buy us and mess with us for the last 200 years, and they still don't get it. This is who we are.
The oil company, the oil pipeline, they've been pretty much media blackout for them. They won't address the media. Tell that. They need to know that we as Indian people have been here through 500 years of genocide. We are the poorest of the poor in this country, and we've experienced the worst of the worst that any group of people have experienced in this country. But we're still here. This pipeline company, it'll be gone someday. But we're still going to be here. We are going to still be here.